Hello, I want you to imagine a room, a vast stone room, and on the floor it's very cushioned, very nice, like you could fall onto it. And at the top, on the ceiling, is actually a three-dimensional sculpture clamped onto the ceiling. And this three-dimensional sculpture is a word, and the word is ninjutsu. And it's got handholds on it and little spikes that you can hold onto and little grips. Now, the reason I want you to imagine that is because I want to show you today that it's about time we let go of the word ninjutsu. So, in my opinion, the ninjutsu community does this. They all sit in that room, they all look up at the word, and they all climb the walls, and they all try to reach the word ninjutsu and try to hold on to it, and they want to keep ninjutsu with them. And I'll explain why. In the 1970s and the 1980s, it was accepted worldwide that ninjutsu was a form of hand-to-hand combat. Of course now we've got rid of that idea and we've sort of outlined what is ninjutsu. But the problem is that it's started a lot of issues online and in the world, and now we have the internet. Of course, lots of people are debating this. And what's happened is we've got two distinct groups have formed. You've got a group over here who I don't know how to word this, but these are the let's call them the Ninja Boom community, the Ninja Boom enthusiasts. And on this side you have the historical manual enthusiasts. So the Ninja Boom enthusiasts, they still hold to the wearing black gis, wearing black belts, like it's a karate gi, wearing a black belt, a karate black belt, or jiu-jitsu, a modern martial arts black belt, and they go to dojos and they practice martial arts. Whereas on the other hand, you get people who like to dress traditionally, they dress in hakama, kimono, and they study the manuals and they recreate the historical life of the ninja. Now, of course, this has caused a bit of a problem because the two groups now have an identity and they separate themselves from each other, which was never my intention, but it's just the reality of this debate. And what's happened is the Ninja Boom enthusiasts are now looking over to the historical manual enthusiasts and they're saying, oh, what you're doing is it's LARPing, it's role play, it's just historical role play. Now, there is a problem here, and this is it. The problem is the word ninjutsu. Everybody has become fascinated on the word. So what I'd like to do is concentrate on the Ninja Boom enthusiasts. Now, the Ninja Boom enthusiasts used to think that ninjutsu was hand-to-hand combat. Now, of course, I came along, we had all the debates, we've changed that idea, and nobody really goes down that route anymore. And we all know that sort of ninjutsu has a not clear, but almost an identifiable form, if you will, with blurry edges. Let's put it that way. Now, and the historical manuals have been produced, so that means the Ninja Boom enthusiasts are looking at the historical manuals saying, I can't really adapt that to my life. Before I did martial arts and I could go in the streets and I could defend myself, or I could get fit and healthy, and it had some meaning to me. But these old scrolls don't have meaning. I don't really want to know how to burn houses down or infiltrate a Japanese castle. That's not what I'm here for. It doesn't apply to me. But the problem here is the simple fact that the Ninja Boom enthusiasts remain with the word ninjutsu. They want to keep hold of the word ninjutsu, but yet when they go to the dojo, they don't practice ninjutsu. Now, I'm not going to have a go at any groups here. What I want to say is this: I want to now talk to the individual and not the groups. Now, you, whoever's watching this, as an individual, you have to answer this simple question. If you go to the dojo, do you put on a karate gi and do you practice martial arts? If so, then you need to let go of the word ninja. This is nothing negative, nothing bad. It's just the best option for you. It realistically is. So if you let go of the word ninja, all that emotion will go, that'll be gone, and then the historical documentation enthusiasts can obviously go down their route and they can let go of the argument and we can hopefully divide. The problem is the attachment to the word ninja. We're all grabbing onto it. The real issue here, and I want to make this extremely clear, is not a love of ninjutsu. It's become obvious to me that people are not passionate about ninjutsu itself. They're more passionate about the image and the word ninja. They wish to be attached to the word ninja. You never find people saying, oh, looking up at this room, at this, this word in the ceiling, and they never find them saying, oh, spearman, or they never find them saying like ashigaru, or you never find them saying like fisherman or lancer. They're not looking at that type of thing, but everybody latches onto the word ninja. And, of course, similarly, they latch onto the word samurai. Evolution in ninjutsu. Now this is a big issue. This has now come up as a debate on a topic. People have said, well, ninjutsu was like that in the Bansen Shukai, the Shoninki, the Shinobi Hiden, but now it's evolved. I want to call no on that. I want to say no. Simply because ninjutsu did evolve, it evolved within its time frame. Ninjutsu evolved from its origin up until the year 1668, and around that time. That's the end of the samurai. After the end of the samurai, the ninja, of course, are no longer retained, they're no longer hired, there is no employment in the art of ninjutsu, in the job of ninja. Therefore, there's no more evolution. They physically die out. And some schools did continue, and some schools do continue ninjutsu to this day, i.e. Muhyoshi-ryu, Katori Shinto-ryu, they still continue. But they don't have applicable ninjutsu to modern life. It's kept as a cultural treasure. It's kept as historical reenactment, yes? And it's kept as living history. Like basically all Koryu are living history. So that's what it is. So you have to remember, ninjutsu evolves up until a certain date, then it becomes static, it stays as historical. And no matter how many thousands of years we go on, ninjutsu will never evolve past that point. My point being is that it cannot evolve into a hand-to-hand combat. If ninjutsu did evolve, it would evolve into infrared cameras, listening devices, it would scaling devices. You would be going to your dojo, if it did evolve, you would be going to your dojo and you would be learning about chemistry, you would learn about high temperature burning recipes, whatever. I've lost how to say that. You know what I mean, that type of thing. And you'd be learning about destruction of buildings and demolition, that type of thing. So let's cut that evolution argument there. So to be clear, it did evolve to a certain point, then it stopped evolving and became a cultural treasure. So you have to ask, we're all in this room and we're all looking at the word ninja simply because it's been put in our minds, we love the ninja, we were all born in the ninja boom or at least around that time, and it is an icon now of the modern world. The ninja is an icon and it's more popular than its actual historical counterpart, the real ninja. You know, they have gone, but we only are left with the fantasy ninja. So what you need to do now is you need to answer this question. You need to go and think, do I go to the dojo, do I put a black gi on, and do I put a black belt on, and do I do bujutsu, martial arts, do I do hand-to-hand fighting? And then maybe occasionally I read a ninja scroll. If the answer is yes, what you need to do is simply let go of that sculpture, that word, let go of ninjutsu and let them fall to the ground. Nice soft landing, there's no problem, and you can walk into the next room and you go through the door and you walk into the next room and you look up and you look at samurai bujutsu or you look at samurai martial arts. That's the room you should be in. Yeah, so you go in that room, you climb up the wall and you cling on to the word samurai. And what you do there, that's where you should be, because you're concentrating on martial arts. And by that I mean hand-to-hand combat with a little bit of ninjutsu on the side. That's where you should be. So let go of the word ninja. Historical, I'm going to call them my guys, but they're realistically the historical scroll people. You should stay in the room of ninjutsu, but come over to the room of samurai, open that and put one foot in one and one foot in the other. Because that's how it was. Back in the day, full professional ninja were of the samurai class or of the Ashugaru class. It doesn't matter, they were still part of samurai war machine. Remember, the samurai is a massive part and it's multi-layered, and even if you're Ashigaru below samurai, you're still part of a samurai army. So therefore the ninja guys, you need to come down from the ninjas, don't cling so much, let go, and you need to have a look and be like, yep, samurai arts, ninja arts, but my sort of aim is to come over to the ninja a bit. If you're more interested in the samurai arts, you need to let go of the ninja and you need to go over to the samurai stuff. To expand on this idea, you need to answer this question. You need to think, when I go to the dojo, i.e. when I get in my training mind and when I get ready to go training, do I think, oh, tonight I'm going to learn how to calculate the moon across the sky, I'm going to calculate the Chinese mansions, I'm going to look at the directions of Chinese compass, and then I'm going to work out where the shadows fall, I'm going to work out how to open a lock, I'm going to learn about, you know, esoteric magic. When you go to the dojo, is that what you've got in your mind, in your heart? I'm going to learn how to burn a building down, or like, you know, assassinate someone jumping out the ceiling or whatever. If that's in your mind and that's what you physically do when you get there, you get charts of the stars out, you get the moon charts out, you get all the other stuff, you research Buddhist deities, then your ninjutsu is for you. That's the room you should be in. If you get there and you realistically don't want to do that and you find it a little bit boring, or it's like, it's interesting for a half an hour read on a Sunday after training, then you really, really need to drop the word ninja. So my main point here is a message to try and stop the arguing between groups, and to just highlight the fact, there won't be a conclusion from this video, but I want you to understand that as an individual, and it's up to you to work out which side you're on, and it doesn't matter which side you're on, it really doesn't, because it's your journey, whatever, it's where you want to go. So if you find that you don't want to do all those historical ninja stuff, then you need to go over to samurai. And the reality of this, guys, and now I'm going to talk to sort of the senseis and the masters in their dojos. The reality of this is I'm finding that a lot of people are calling themselves such and such ninja group or such and such a school, but we concentrate on ninjutsu. And you're like, then when you look at their websites, you look at their videos, you're like, no, you don't. You have a little bit of ninjutsu, but you concentrate on martial arts. So if you're a master or a sensei, have a think. Maybe time it, maybe do a little bit of recording. And if your dojo actually, like you're on a 90% martial arts curriculum or a 75% martial arts, 60% martial arts, let's even say 50% martial arts, you shouldn't have the word ninja above your dojo. It shouldn't be a ninja dojo, yeah? That shouldn't be it. So if hand-to-hand combat is your main focus, you need to remove the word ninja from its primary position and put it in a secondary position. If you go to your dojo and you've got star charts out and you're learning how to climb castle walls and you're doing all the historical things because it hasn't evolved, then you need to you need to keep with the word ninja. If, though, you're a third person or a third party and you have a dojo and you're learning modern applications, i.e. you're like doing modern equipment, modern this, why are you even using the word ninja? Ninja should never be there if you're using modern stuff. You should be using like SAS or SEALs or modern infiltration or modern counter-espionage. It's nothing to do with ninjutsu. While they're obviously linked, they are not intermingled. They are not. Ninja is a historical placement. That's where it should stay. And I will be going into this in a different video about evolution of ninjutsu, or sorry, the evolution into modern espionage, blah, blah, blah. But that's another video and I'll blabber on that video and all that. My final message. If you're out there and you love ninja, you don't have to stop loving the ninja. What you just have to do is prioritize. First of all, identify, do I love the name ninja or do I love ninjutsu? This is really easy to identify. Just be honest with yourself. Do you sit there and dream about the sort of like climbing down walls, sort of killing people from behind, sneaking around in a mask? If that's on your profile picture, that's the pictures you take at the weekend, then no, you don't like historical ninjutsu. You like the image of the ninja. If you go home and you read the manuals like Sad Old Me, Bansen Shukai, Shoninki, and oh, this means that and that means that, then yeah, ninja's for you. But remember, you don't have to let go of ninja totally. You just have to prioritize it. Some people should be in the samurai group with a little bit of ninja dashed in. Other people should be in the group where samurai and ninja come almost equally, with ninja raising a little bit. Okay? Don't forget, the Bansen Shukai is now out. Here it is. And this is a real ninja manual written by real ninja back in the day. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy historical ninjutsu. There's plenty more on the website and the downloads. Enjoy, and I'll speak to you next time.